Hey everybody. So I actually took a mental health day, but by mental health, I just needed an actual day to actually get all my schoolwork done. So that's why I'm doing this today. We're doing the Jimmy BIP this week. We're doing it from Levine. So we're comparing to what Levine's saying in that text. So on what strategies do I think that will work? So the cues by Jimmy to the staff and vice versa may come in handy, but I obviously think they should be made a little more evident. There needs to be talk about these cues that they can give each other when Jimmy needs a break, just like Levine talks about on page 51. It's important to have cues with these children that are struggling because that way it's like a nonverbal cue, so it's not like an obvious like point out in front of the class type deal. It's something that can be like very discreet, but that also lets each the teacher and the student, so Jimmy, know what's going on, what's happening, and keep each other kind of updated in a nice little cute little secret way. So the substitution behavior of going to the safe place until Jimmy is ready to do work. That strategy, I think it will work. I like the idea or the thought behind it. Maybe not the whole idea, but like it's a substituting the behavior of going to the safe place instead of just staying in timeout or whatever is happening for Jimmy. So that way it may not be like directly related to how Levine talked about like subbing in a behavior instead of doing this, do this, but this is like a great example of what's already happening in Jimmy's BIP. He's either going to timeout when he's doing something really disruptive or not on task, and this substituting the behavior of going to the safe place on his own to do work would be a great way to basically put him in a better situation, whether the safe place is good XYZ whatever. The substituting of that behavior is on the right lines. I like the idea of the class store. It might just be because I have a class like reward system. I think I talked about it before, but my class reward system is basically you earn Hank bucks. So they're each $100 and they have a picture of my dog Hank on it. And the way you earn these though are through random acts of kindness, so it's not ever driven by points that you earn on a test or a quiz or how you do in the class. It's really all based on acts of kindness. So obviously if you're acting kindly you'll earn, and if you're not acting kindly, I don't take away reward. I think that definitely goes along with what Levine says, don't take away those good things. I just don't reward for behavior that's not kind. Yeah, so those are strategies that I think will work. What strategies do you question or have problems with? So I do not see where the breaks put into the schedule. I don't see those. Like they should. He's supposed to have breaks. Clearly, I mean, that's what we've been talking about is like taking those pauses so you can like regather yourself and like have a minute to decompress because the work's really stressful, which I think everybody needs a break, but specifically in this case, Jimmy needs a break. I don't see those in his schedule. It looks like he can earn breaks, and breaks should not be a reward if that's something a student needs. So I have a problem with that. I see there are timeouts and he can choose to take breaks when he gets too stressed, but it's best to use preventative measures, not simply responding to issues after the fact. So we want Jimmy to be able to begin to sense and see the signs that begin to take place when he's starting to get overwhelmed or agitated. So Levine on page 41 talked about how good it is for an idea for teachers to collaborate to let a child know that the signs they are displaying may put them in that negative space. It's ideal that the child, so Jimmy, chooses to take ownership of his actions and be able to make the adjustments that he needs in order to remain calm and find peace. So by making a student aware of like signs that you've started to notice are going to like start that child on the path to downwardness, it's important to let them know, make them aware, to have them take ownership of like what's going on. And that way, if they sense that coming, they can put themselves out of that situation. And then here you are, you don't have to constantly be like eyeballing, waiting for the sign to happen, because for all you know, you could miss it. So it's important to have them take ownership, and that's going to also last them in the long run, because obviously the next teacher they have, like if they do not use the same methods, if Jimmy's already kind of gotten in this cycle of taking ownership and like realizing, okay, like when I start kicking my legs like this, that means I'm going to get agitated because it's already like it's on a downward spiral from there. That way the next teacher can be made aware. And that can continue for the rest of his life. And he can excuse himself from those situations. So yeah, I think it's a good idea for a teacher to collaborate and let child know the signs. It's obviously ideal for Jimmy to take ownership of his behavior, and then he can make adjustments so that way he can remain calm and stress-free. I think putting Jimmy in a timeout is not a good idea. Timeout seems so easy, like back in my babysitting days. Oh my gosh, the child's acting up, put them in timeout. Like, it gives you a break, it gives them a break. But I don't think in this case putting Jimmy in timeout is a good idea. I don't know if Jimmy has the ability to calm himself down. I didn't read that anywhere. But from what is gathered in the BIP, I don't think he does. So Levine says on page 49 to not use timeout for the children that are not able to calm themselves down. Because honestly, like, putting them over there by themselves freaking out is kind of worse. It for the child specifically. Levine also states that the timeout exacerbates the student's prevailing affective state, leading to worsening behavior. It's a direct quote from page 49. Basically, this will send the student further into a downward spiral, and I don't see it going up from there. So yeah, no to timeouts. Levine states that taking away things from children suffering from anger and depression may only make matters worse, which I'm pretty sure we've all seen before, even if not in the classroom. This can be displayed as Jimmy loses points, which affects his prize choices at the end of the week. Behavior may worsen from punishing by taking away these points. So he's already exacerbated, right? So like now we're taking more things away. Okay, now that just added to his stress level. So now he's like, all right, I'm really mad. And he's just going to keep going and going until like finally he's had like maybe 5 minutes to breathe or something and realizes like, okay, like at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. But he's a kid. So like we don't know how long that will take or what could happen from there. Yeah, so no to taking away things from these children. Tickets should not have to be turned in for a reward of a break or food. So it specifically says on page 66, like, food is not a reward. Like, obviously, you should not be using food and, like, critical breaks as a reward for a good behavior. If he needs those breaks, he should have them. If he needs some food to, like, make him feel better, he should have it. It shouldn't be, like, you have to turn in all your little tickets now for this reward. So that's what I think about that. The last question is, like, what other strategies do I think that I would want to try with Jimmy and why? So I think obviously it's important for Jimmy to be able to identify his own problems and then work on solving them. So on page 58, making the child aware of what's going on, it's going to help with not only like the momentary like struggles, but it'll also help with social problems, because obviously making a child aware of things that they're doing that could affect them socially, that means they can think about it before they do it, which ultimately will help them in the long run. It helps them learn how to problem solve too, and it also, ownership of your own actions is a very good lesson to learn. I think teaching Jimmy some self-calming strategies would work really well for him when he has learned these, and then he can utilize them on his own in his safe space. And that's a good idea. So on page 44, it gives like all these different types of self-calming strategies. I also want to add in, I think it would be a good idea just to teach all the class these self-calming strategies as well. So when Jimmy's doing it, it's not like, ew, that kid's weird or something. Because, I mean, they're in, like, what, elementary school or middle school or whatever age group. It doesn't even matter. That way we don't have students being like, oh, he needs to do that to calm down. I mean, then every student's doing it, so it doesn't make it weird for Jimmy or other students. So you could provide Jimmy with these visual imagery. It's like diaphragmatic breathing, whatever that word is. Breathing, like certain breathings will help, like in through the nose, out through the mouth. Progressive muscle relaxation. So also by teaching the whole class these little techniques and disciplines can get rid of any stigma or negative stigma or weirdness that coincides with these kind of things. I think, though, that's a good summary based on Levine. I really do enjoy reading Levine. It's very easy in my mind to read and progresses from one thing to the next. So I think that would be a good idea for Jimmy's BIP. Have a great day and a great weekend.